For those who are new to Redmen Plus, I know we've had some new sign-ups recently. Very, very simple format. We just pick a couple of the players really stand out for good, bad, indifferent, and we look at the marks or the ratings out of 10 that were given to them by some of the best stats websites about. That is SofaScore, Who Scored, and FOTMob. Do we agree? Do we disagree? Kind of, and have a little chat about them all really. The first person I want to speak about might be, he is the man actually on the stream, Errol, you said was Liverpool's best player, Liverpool's man of the match, and that was the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And in a 2-1 win, that maybe suggests just how the game went, that Liverpool needed their goalkeeper to help them out with some big saves. In terms of his ratings, 7.2 from SofaScore, 7.1 from Who Scored, and 8 from FOTMob. I always like FOTMob. Mate, it's because the volume of saves aren't that massive, which is probably why these websites don't appreciate it. But he made 4 saves, but some of them are like a couple of one-on-ones.
2 one-on-ones.
The Bowen one and the Ste one, the lovely little touch that off Kudos's chip. He couldn't have done nothing about the goal. It was an own goal.
And the other one where Kudos goes across goal as well. Looks like it could be sneaking into.
Oh, great save.
That's a great save.
Great save. So he's made 4. He's made some big saves there. He was good in the air, commanding, gets the foul. Liverpool, this is the difference, I think, between a good Premier League goalkeeper and the best goalkeeper on the planet. I think if that's Kelleher, and this is not a knock on Kevin Kelleher, but not being Alisson Becker isn't a knock, you know what I mean? It's just not being the best. Liverpool might have conceded 2 goals there, or maybe even 3, like they did at Fulham. But Alisson saves the ones that you're not meant to save. You're not really meant to save all those one-on-ones, and you're not meant to save that chip, because it's brilliant by Kudus.
Yeah.
But yeah, the goalkeeper was
genius.
The goalkeeper was brilliant.
The way he just digs it out of his feet and just goes to the little dink. He sees the keepers off his line after making a very good one-on-one save as well. And he's just being a bit of an opportunist there. There's probably a tiny space and a gap for him to try and squeeze it under that bar, and he very nearly executes it unbelievably. And then it's just all credit to Alisson Becker in that moment, because he doesn't... You know, sometimes, and again, it's not just goalkeepers that do this, but footballers in general, they will admire their work, whether it's a nice pass that they do, whether it's a little drop of the shoulder, and you just get caught for a moment, just kind of ball watching and admiring what they've just done. Alisson Becker was very much still alive to the danger, and he just gets back on his line, he backpedals, and he's just fading back towards his goal, but he just stretches out a big bear paw and just clips it onto the bar, and it is absolutely incredible, because as I say, he's got no right to really recover that well and make such an impact in those moments. But for me, it is that. It's when strikers are going through and the XG goes through the roof and it's in favour of the striker, Alisson Becker stands up and he just makes it look so easy. I think it was the Bowen one where you kind of watch it back, and Bowen, like, he gets the ball out of his feet, but then he looks up very quickly, and within a blink of an eye you can see Alisson.
Soler's the same, by the way, on that leads to the Kudos chance. As soon as he looks up, he's like, oh, there's Alisson. Like, he's on top of him. Like, what are you meant to do? He was brilliant. Like, say, the goal he can do nothing about. It's weird the way the stats work, but he said, like, his XG was actually, he saved a goal. It's just that the own goal kind of saves him, and they were big chances. Like, the Kudos one actually is a low XG chance. He just makes a really good effort. Yeah. And you're right, Allison does really well. I actually think their goalkeeper made a couple of good saves. Allison makes another save, which the stats don't count. You know, the one when he was offside at the back post and he sticks his boot out. Wow, that's a worldly save, that. Yeah. It's like, it doesn't count, but yeah, this is the difference, Errol, between, like, I think world class and just good. And today Liverpool needed some of their world class players to step up in moments. They weren't fabulous all the time, but if you look at, you know, Salah with the assist, Van Dijk with the goal after maybe being at fault for the other goal, Alisson Becker, we know he's the best in the world. Liverpool are a strange mix at this moment of older but class players, a couple of guys you're thinking, oh, maybe their time's gone and we're going to move them on, and then a lot of promising youth as well. But actually, if you look at the world class players, it's probably, I would say, right now, Alisson, Van Dijk, McAllister, Salah are probably the 4, and actually all 4 of them today in different ways shine, and the goalkeeper today was right at the top of that list.
I completely agree. And again, not to turn it away, but if we're talking about goalkeeper performances, you know, there was a goalkeeper that was in the headlines this week, doesn't play for us, thank God, but talks a big game and then fails to back it up. Alisson Becker getting back into the team after being concussed for a couple of weeks and obviously needing to go through the right level of protocols before he can play again and get clearance, knows he's the best goalkeeper, but then puts in performances like that.
And he doesn't tell you, does he?
He doesn't need to, because what he does on the pitch is testament enough to the level and the calibre of goalkeeper that we've gotten, and that is the difference. And again, I'm not saying, you know, there's just a gulf between those two, because you've mentioned it just there, you know, good Premier League goalkeepers, they're littered, even, you know, even like Keller definitely played for a top 6, top 7, top 8 Premier League side. They are really good, and they will all come up with some big saves, and sometimes there are Premier League goalkeepers that look better because they're just constantly under the cosh and have to save a high ratio of goals week in, week out. But for me, what makes Alisson Becker as good as he is the fact that he can go through games and go through periods where he's not really involved. He's a little bit of a spectator. Got probably one of the best views in any ground across the country whenever Liverpool play. But there'll be a couple of moments where he is called upon, because Liverpool will give you chances. Yeah. And that is where you've got somebody like him that will come and save the day. And I thought today, in the second half, where we was under the cosh a little bit and West Ham seemed to have a lot more momentum going their way, a lot better the chances. There was a little graphic that popped up on the Sky feed before, saying, like, you know, in the last 10 minutes, I think it's been about 4 or 5 chances to West Ham versus Liverpool's 1, and you have that little bit of reassurance that actually we can probably nick this, just because we're going to have the better goalkeeper, or defensively we're going to do a little bit better than them. And even when the defence is questionable and lets themselves down, you've got somebody like Allison that's still just going to hold the fort for you.
And I think also, credit to West Ham, some of the chances they made, it wasn't even that bad defending by Liverpool. They just, you know, good runs,
open, yeah.
Good runs, good incisive passes, really good moves. And the only way he was going to get beat today was a worldie or a mistake. He got beat by the mistake, and he nearly gets beat by the worldie. Like that header from Fulkrug, it's worth mentioning. Like, Allison couldn't have saved that.
No.
They were the only chances that I think West Ham were going to score. They were going to have.
He had one in the first half as well. He probably should do better. The header.
But again, you can't. Yeah, there's nothing you can do. What are you going to do about that? You can't say that. Like I say, Liverpool did ride the luck. Liverpool do concede chances still. We know that about it. It's funny, because you get this thing all the time. If it wasn't for Allison, you're so lucky, you know, your defence is crap, but you're lucky you've got Allison. It's not luck. Yeah. Signing the best goalkeeper and having the best goalkeeper isn't luck. Yeah. I'm trying to think in my head today, how many Premier League teams would have conceded more than 1 goal with the chances that Allison conceded, or Liverpool conceded today? And I think all of them.
Possibly, yeah.
Emi Martinez on his best day can have games like that.
Yeah.
We've seen like Ryan and Pickford-ish, but there's no way. Like that lob, Ryan doesn't get. He's too short.
Yeah.
He just doesn't get it. So I think that most Premier League teams today would have conceded a couple of goals.
And we've seen even, you know, Arsenal still wanting to push for the title, struggled against this West Ham side as well. So, and we said it, they might not be sitting, you know, where you think in terms of the squad deserve to be sitting this season and in the top half of the league, but in terms of some of the quality of players that they've got Paqueta, they've got obviously Kudus, they've got Bowen, you've got Ward-Prowse, they had a couple of other players, you know, the full-backs when they was getting up before. Aaron Wan-Bissaka in the second half, when he moved over, he looked a little bit better even on the left-hand side, which obviously isn't his preferred position. They've got sound quality players that can produce when they get time on the ball, and he did. And I thought one of the really important things when we were saying just before Endo came on the pitch was just put somebody on Paqueta, just mark him out of the game for 10 minutes, and that should just see us to be enough. And one of the first things Endo comes and does is just crashes into him, doesn't give him the time on the ball, and I don't think we see much of Paqueta after that. So yeah, as I say, you've got to give credit to West Ham, but you've got to give him a lot of credit to the guy in goal for us today, Alisson Becker.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, he stood up to the challenge.
A lot of praise.
He was excellent, and yeah, without him, Liverpool, listen, they would have. I don't think they'd have lost. Maybe who knows? You work it out, but they could have, because they had.
And one last thing I will say: West Ham deserved the goal. You know, that's the type of game where
they got it in a spawn anyway, but they deserved
they deserve, like it was coming in. It was like they deserve to at least be back level pegging with us. It's, can Liverpool create another chance that then just gives them that little bit of daylight? And the timing of it was just a hammer blow to them. I just think, like I say, the difference when it's all said and done, I go back to it, Liverpool are going to be champions for a couple of reasons. Like I say, you can talk injuries, fitness, whatever, but like Liverpool have got world class players in key positions, and the teams chasing them either haven't, or they haven't quite performed at their level. Our goalkeeper's been injured for a while, but when he plays, more often than not, Alisson's brilliant. Van Dijk, you go through the team, I say again, McAllister and Salah in particular, Trent when he's available, but again he's injured.
And if you look at the teams behind us, they just haven't got that. And sometimes a world-class player can put on a world-class performance and win you the game in an attacking sense. Yeah. And sometimes your world-class goalkeeper, he's done it in Paris, he's done it again today, really, where he's just pulling out the top drawer. And listen, mate, the last question on him before we move on, again, we went through the ratings there, is he's only 32. Liverpool have signed this guy from Valencia, Mamardashvili. I mean, I can't imagine a world where we want to even think about Allison not being our goalie for another couple of years. If I'm Liverpool, I want Mamardashvili to be on the bench. You can have Kelleher's spot because he'd do well to be better than this, because I think this is as good as it gets.
Yeah, no, it is. For me, it genuinely is. And where do you go after it, having someone as good as an Allison, really? There's always going to be a slight drop-off. So if Mamardashvili can come in and have the best coaching for the next 2 seasons or whatever that looks like, and if we can extend it beyond that, then I'm all for it, because Alisson Becker is one of the prime reasons as to why this Liverpool squad has been as good as it has for a number of years now, because, you know,
he's the best.
He's the best at what he does. Yeah, and you know, and I think there's not one area really of his game where you look at and think that's like really far below the level. Across the board, I think he's just the most rounded. You might get the odd goalkeeper that does something in a different category that's just a little bit above what he can do, but in terms of being all-rounded, I just don't think there's a better one right now in world football. The only other one is Courtois, but he doesn't play in our league, so I don't see him enough week in, week out.
There's good goalies,
but I know he's incredible.
He's number one. He's absolutely number one. The best in the world, Alisson Becker. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section, guys. Your thoughts on Alisson. Was he the best? Was he man of the match? I think we're going to agree. We think he was absolutely fabulous. Yeah, is he the best in the world? And if he isn't, who is? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below.